Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome everybody to this webinar about the 9 keys to reach the highest profitability in our crop, nut crops. I have this is Guillermo Caravante, agronomist engineer, and I'm in charge to assist Africa and Eastern Europe. I have the pleasure to introduce to my colleague Borja Gonzalez to this webinar. He is agronomist engineer, expert in irrigation, and he has been involved in many of the cases that we are going to speak today. Before to start, I would like to explain you a little bit how it works, this platform. Okay, you will see on the right side of your screen, you will see a hand. If you click the hand, it will turn on green. And with this, we can see that you are listening and the platform is working currently. Okay. Thank you very much. If everybody click the hand, I would like to see all the hands as I see. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Everybody is listening. Everybody's here with us. Okay. We are going to speak today about this kind of crops. About the yield, the production, how it works, many of the factors, and we are going to show you to our part of the technology, but our way to do the things. Okay. Before to start and give the pass to Borja, I would like to wait just 5 minutes because we are many people from many different countries, and the people is coming and is trying to connect right now. Just 5 minutes and we will start. Okay. Thank you. Another thing that I would like to tell you is in the below part of the screen, you will see a question mark. This is very, very important because with this, you can speak with us, make us your questions, your doubts, and everything that you want to comment, and etc. We will read and we will answer at the end of the presentation. At the end of the webinar, we have a little survey. If you're pleased to fill it, it will be for improve ourselves in the next experience. Okay, thank you for that too. And as I tell, we will start in 3 minutes left. Okay, thank you. I see the hands. I see the hands. Okay. I have to tell you too that we have this initiative in terms that we are experts in this kind of crops and many others, not only in Spain, if not also in Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, in Latin America, and we thought that it could be a great opportunity to start with these ones. And in case that you have the curiosity to another one, just tell us and we will work on it, and we will look inside of our know-how to find the better webinar and the better presentation to do it to you, to show you in the next experience. In this case, we are going to start here. Thank you once again, and I don't know what time is it. Let me check. Borja, when you want.
Thank you, Guillermo, for the introduction. Pleasure to be again here with all of you. Hope this will be a very fruitful presentation. And let's start with it right now, okay? Thank you for your time to be there with us, to join us. And let's start with this presentation, okay? Okay, right now I think you already see my screen, okay? So let's go with it. Okay, so you might be probably asking yourself why AZUD is talking about the 9 keys to reach the highest profitability in nut crops. When AZUD is an irrigation company, irrigation manufacturer, and a filtration manufacturer company, and but we have a wide experience for a very long time ago with this type of nut crops, not only here in Spain, but North Africa, Middle East, Asia, also in South America and Central America. We have developed well-known in all the production system, not just the irrigation. And we will see all these 9 points to need to be considered all together in order to get this maximum profitability of all the production of any type of nut crops. Okay. We have a wide and extended network with not just the end user, the producer, where we are working closer to all of them, as you can see here, but also with those other auxiliary companies, complementary companies, related to the production of this type of crops, like the plant nurseries, the specialized machinery for the mechanical cultural practices, and the fertilizers, and any other auxiliary company. We have this connection with them, and we have learned, we have get all the knowledge from all these related companies, and also that one we got feedback from all close clients and users who are directly involved in the production of this type of crops, nut crops. Almond, we are talking about almonds, hazelnuts, walnuts, pecan, and pistachios as well. Well, in order to get the highest profitability, first of all, where we can directly act or directly get a fast action and feedback is from the cost, where we are more related. We are talking as producer level, yes, a farming. How can decrease this cost? We will see during these 9 points how to decrease this cost while getting at least the same yield or even higher. We are talking here about nut crops where the quality is very high estimated and is very valued in the end of final cost and the income we get from there. Okay. Also, in many places in Europe, in other places, it is directly related the production system in order to be sustainable, environmental friendly. Let's say when we are using less inputs in terms of water consumption, energy, and so this is also very direct, very related with the final profitability of the farm, and also what is a real this is a trend, and this is a reality nowadays about the other types of production systems out of the conventional farming. We are talking about this eco, bio, or organic production system, which we can see very easily on the prices on the market that we are getting higher prices for those at origin. Okay. Anyway, crop nut is a very high investment when we want to work it with very good and quality plantation. We are talking about to make a very a significant investment on all the farm, on the plantations. So what is very important is to reduce, to get as quick as possible the return of investment. As soon as we get this return of investment, we are ensuring or profitability or the success of our plantation. Okay, these are the 9 keys we will approach during this webinar. The plant material, the climate, the weather, the soil, irrigation water, the plant health, the cultural practices, nutrition, and the production system, as well as the irrigation. We'll focus one by one very briefly, as we don't have many time, but with deep and technical, accurate information about each one. Okay. First of all, where we are approaching one nut crop plantation, the design, we are starting to make the decision. The most important is to decide which type of production system we will implement. Let's say this is if we go for intensive or super high intensive, super high density plantations. Okay, this is very important, as the plant variety, the plant rootstock is directly related with those. There are different type of rootstocks and plant varieties according to the system, plantation system we will decide to use. So as well as the graft of this plant with the plant variety with the rootstock, is very important to have identify and have a clear idea about what we will use in our plantation. Okay. Also, very important to know the climate, the weather data of this area in order to what is determinant to the production, final production, the frost period. These varieties, there are late varieties or early varieties in terms of blooming, which will be adapted. We need to be adapted to the local conditions in order to don't lose the investment in this frost, this potential frost period. Okay. Also have a very clear where the production will be, the harvest will be sold to, where will be, which market will be focused. If we will send it to the industry for processing or directly to fresh market, right? According to the plants, there are these rootstocks and plant varieties. They are more prone or more likely to be grown in some certain type of soils, and also the disease resistance. Okay, there are the varieties rootstocks that are more resistant to certain type of disease. We need to know which plant will be planted. This will be designed this plantation, and also accordingly decide which type of variety used. In many cases, some producers get stuck to the same plant variety because it's used to that, and it gives good results at the end. But once the plantation is that big, we are at the time of harvesting. Imagine it will be a headache to get the harvest of all the plantation at the same time if all the plant varieties are the same. So sometimes we need to divide or make some different plant varieties in the same plantation in order to extend the harvest period and harvesting period, and don't get mad or lose money, or it's difficult to find the machinery, or there is not enough time to make the harvest in the proper moment. Also for pollination, there are varieties. There are crops like nut crops like the pistachio. We need a certain ratio of males and females in order to provide a good fruit set for the pollination. Okay. Also for the water requirements, when we are making the design of this system, for example, we have different plant varieties we need to sectorize and divide these plant varieties in order to supply them different water requirements or nutrients. We could have some plants in blossom and other in fruit set, and we need to supply them different water and nutrient requirements. So we need to have divided this in the irrigation system. Also, we have done some designs where in the same plot, in the same sector, there are in case of the pistachio, there are lines and rows of trees where it's been separated, identify them and separate from the irrigation. So there are two types of irrigation for the same plot, identified by males and females, so different water requirements as well. And here we have some of the rootstocks and the varieties that mostly used worldwide for this kind of plantations. Point to the climate. Gathering weather data, local accurate data, is nowadays very easy and provides a very useful information to us in terms of the frost, the chilling time, the frost probability, the dew point, the relative humidity, the precipitation. We can with this type of weather station, we can gather, we can acquire local, real information for our farm. Sometimes we depend on this data that could be 30 kilometers or 40 kilometers far away from our own plantation, and we can see that it's raining there, but we don't know what's really going on our own site. We are talking here, we are not talking about big plots. We are from 8-7 hectares size is very convenient to install one of these weather stations, and very important in those places where the frost probability is very high in the period where the blooming could be happening. It's very important if we have this anti-frost system in order to have automatically activation of the frost system to protect or harvest, or final harvest. As well, with all this data gathering, the weather station is able to make the calculation to know which is the ATO, the reference evapotranspiration, which may tell us the real water requirements of our crops. So we are also saving. We are very accurate in the water we need to apply to the crops, and we save in extra water applications. The soil is one of that it's said that is most important parameters in order to determine if the plantation would be carried out at the end or not. Everyone makes a soil test before starting any project. This is mandatory, but it's also very important to get accurate data about what we are getting as a soil. Okay, we're talking about here about texture, the pH, the electric conductivity, so we know which type of soil we have. Also the texture, we can adapt the irrigation system to these parameters, but it's important that, for example, pH and electric conductivity could suffer or could affect the plant. So we need also to get these values to get rid of or to adapt our soil to the plant needs. Okay. For example, we are talking about the irrigation design. It will be very different approaching. We have like a picture on the left. We bury a lot of gravel, very sandy soil texture, and comparing with the more clayly or silt particles in terms of soil texture. Okay, We always, when we are working in a nut crop project, we always start to make the design. We talk with the end user, the producer, and right after all the design has been done, we always make a soil test. We dig for 2 meters depth for make the soil test profile. And for example, you can see here on the picture on the right, bottom right, that this is a project in Kazakhstan for hazelnuts. The project was almost going to start, and we make this soil test, and we saw that the water table level was very shallow. It was just less than 1 meter, 80 centimeters depth, and we were thinking with the design, it was designed to go with subsurface irrigation. We would have lost all the water there, and well, at the end, this project was in Korea, it was cancelled. So look how important it is to make a proper soil test analysis. Also with the soil sensors, we can get we can acquire very accurate information about the moisture content in different levels, depth levels of the soil, also the conductivity, so we know how much water, how often we need to supply. So we are not losing water through deep percoloration, so we are also saving this cost, and we know what's the salt content. So we avoid any further problems for the rods like ion toxicity or salt toxicity. Complementary to this soil test analysis, the irrigation water sometimes is not considered and is or considered secondary, while it's almost as important as the soil analysis is. Here we are talking about sometimes the water for irrigation comes with a lot of salts inside, also with a lot of nutrients. These nutrients we could bear in mind in order to don't apply them through the fertilizer, so we are saving costs as well in fertilizer, and also the salt content tell us about how good or suitable for the crop will be. So we can work according to that, and as well don't face further problems with ion toxicity or salt concentration that could face some decrease or decrease of final yield of the crops. It's very important, as well as the pH, in order to get all the nutrients available to the plant. So we are talking that more than 7 pH of 7, some nutrients, some elements could not be able for the root system uptake. So we also need to work accordingly to that and change this pH level to decrease it with AZUD and with other techniques in order to get rid of this. Also the water availability. We need to be real what we have, what it's our resources. So the target production target, the yield, is directly related with the amount of water we have available. We need to know this water availability through all the irrigation season in order to be realistic to the yield, maximum yield we can get according to the plant and the production system. Yes, but also when on those places where the irrigation quantity is not that much or is not enough as the crop needs, there are some practices like deficit irrigation practices that provides us an alternative and a good with a good management could get a good yield and a good harvest, even we don't have that enough water quantity. It's very important to manage the irrigation and to know each critical period of each crop, the blooming, the fruit set, and also very important irrigation after harvesting. This is very important. Sometimes it's very unknown and people miss it, and this will set this time post-harvesting time is the period where all the batch for the next season year, for the fruit bearing of the next year will be happening. So it's very important also, if not rain fit, to provide this irrigation post after the harvest. Okay. Also the TS, the suspended solids. We need to know this value present in the water. This indicates us the level or concentration of contaminants or solid contaminants, solid particles and debris, which could damage or interfere in our irrigation system. So we are talking about 15, 20, more than 20 years of the irrigation system, and we need to defend, protect all of it. Okay, it's very important to select the right and the proper filtration system for that. The plant disease is very wide and depends on the place we are working with this project. But here we like to remark that along with the weather station, there are many agricultural services that provide like agronomic advice related to the weather parameters in order to get the information in advance, to know with time in advance when this fungi-related disease will occur or are more likely to occur. So we can gather all this information. There are some algorithms that will tell us with prediction within 1 week or 10 days in advance to know that this disease are more likely to occur. So we can act with time in advance and save a lot of money. 1 second. Sorry for that. Well, 6th point, cultural practices. This is very related, directly related with the plantation system and the plant spacing we have selected at the first stage with the plant in super intensive, super high density or intensive plantation. The pruning, the tree structure, and also the harvesting is closely related to that. Here we are talking about time of harvesting, time of pruning. There are different machineries adapted to these conditions, and what here we can tell about cost saving is about the drip irrigation. When we are talking about on-surface drip irrigation, we have these obstacles in the 3 rows that we need to move from in order to don't break them, to don't step over the drip lines. So there is time consuming in moving this drip line apart from the open row to close to the 3 row. So it's time consuming. So if we reduce we avoid the drip lines to be on the ground, we bury them. The machinery, the harvesting, the pruning, all the practices can be done without any matter or avoiding any damage or any time consuming in moving these drip lines. This is very important regardless the type of mechanized harvesting. Here we are talking about this sweeping that the first shaker harvester goes to the trees and put down all the nuts on the ground, and then there's a sweeping that pick them up from the ground, either with umbrellas directly with the shaker as well, or these inline harvest machines. also the cultural practices very related as well with the previous point of harvesting and other practices, pruning and so. Here we are talking about different ways to manage the soil cover. There could be a mower or tillage. This is mechanical practices, or just passing through with a herbicide application to get rid of all the weeds that are appearing on the ground. Anyway, different management. Here we have the same problem. Drip lines are on the ground, are getting wet. All the surface are along the tree row, and weeds are more likely to appear there than also if we are with the mower or with the tillage. It could damage as well all the drip lines and could face some leakage as well. So one option is again to remove these drip lines from the ground and install them subsurface. Okay, so we have open surface with no obstacles on there, and all the applications are easily recovered as well. No drip lines on the ground, no drip lines on the tree row, no moisture, no weeds appearing on there. Point 7, the crop nutrition. We are talking here about maybe where there is the biggest share of the production cost. Okay, through the production season, one production year. We are talking that this is very costly input, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes, very often, let's say very often, is not well used, and we are using more than actually is needed for the crop. We are losing money in this, and we don't know how much and how we are supplying these nutrients in the irrigation or through the irrigation with the fertigation injectors. Here we are talking that we need to control the pH of this nutrient solution in order to know the availability of the nutrients to the root system. So we can control the pH, we can control the nutrition, the nutrition parameters for the crop, and also we can determine the concentration of these nutrients in the water, within the water, and provide them to don't face further problems in the tree, near the tree root system, where some high concentration salts could happen. So it's very important to control them constantly, and to gather all this information in order to supply the right amount of nutrients, and don't have extra cost in fertigation, fertilizers, and so. Also, with this type of machineries, we can inject separately the nitrogen, the phosphorus, the potassium, all the micronutrients, the acid, whatever, and we can use our own receipt, as well as there is not through all the growing stages of the nut crops. Every stage has different requirements, nutrient requirements, and we can adapt them to the through the fertilizer injector machine like this. And also we can buy the fertilizer much cheaper than those when we just buy one, like would be 3 or 4, 2, 3 elements in the same fertilizer. But we can save a lot of money. We buy them separately, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and the others micronutrients, and then we inject them all together with our own receipt. Okay. Also for for maintenance, irrigation maintenance for injection some AZUD, we need to this type of machine are able to make this injection, AZUD injection, in order to get rid of any calcium precipitation or any chemical precipitation inside of the drip lines, to avoid further problems in the irrigation system, like this clogging could may affect. Nowadays is reality. The price of the organic ecologic nuts are 2-3 euros more than those of conventional. This is a real happening nowadays, and but there are some other circumstances that we need to bear in mind while dealing with this type of production system. We can go with just some portion, some surface of this type of production system, or going to 100% ecological, bio, organic, whatever we have in our plantation. Okay, but we need to know that there are some specific like fertilizers, organic fertilizers, and other type of application that we need to go with the mower or tillage practices in order to get rid of the weeds that could be growing on the surface. So here it's very convenient to get the subsurface deep irrigation to use this system in order to avoid all of this, and using a good filtration system to avoid. We are talking about organic fertilizer. They are more dense. They have more difficult particles. So we also need to consider this in the filtration, and also in the during the maintenance and operational of this type of system. Well, and last point 9, the irrigation. We could, as we already seen this previous point, we could have the on-ground irrigation, drip irrigation system, or below-ground drip irrigation system, the subsurface drip irrigation system. We have talked about the advantage of the subsurface drip irrigation here, but we start boring at certain depth these drip lines set apart from the road, tree road, and supplying all the water directly to the roots. Here we are getting as well as a wet bulb, but also we're avoiding extra water losses by evaporation, as there is not water on the surface. So we are more efficient. We are consuming less water, as we are using all the water for the root system, applying directly to the root system. So really, there is not losses. We are talking about 96% of efficiency, and directly where the roots need it. It's very important, if we go for the SDI, that we use a specific emitter for that. We are talking about anti-siphon emitter, which when once is buried, doesn't allow to enter any type of particle inside the dripper. So it avoids the clogging by debris, soil particles entering to the emitter. This is mandatory. It's needed to use a quality emitter. Also, PC pressure compensated. We are talking even for both on ground and buried and subsurface. The emitter shall be PC always. We recommend it. Why? Because the application is more uniform. The application of nutrients, of AZUD for maintenance, everything is constantly supplying the same amount of water with the same proportion, let's say, regardless the working pressure. Also, we will go for, we're talking in subsurface irrigation, 1 millimeter wall thickness, and we'll see that the installation will last for 15-20 years or more. We are already working with this type of system for more than 25 years of experience, and we have gathered all this knowledge. It's very important that more you need the good product, but also make sure that who is making the installation is certified, reliable installer. We are working with this type of companies worldwide, not just in Spain, in South America, in North Africa, in Asia, where the installation companies have been working with us for many time, and we have teach them, we have passed them the knowledge in order to how to make the proper installation. It's very important to make a good installation, so make sure who is making it and with which type of material. And we're seeing that nowadays subsurface irrigation is becoming very popular everywhere, and not everyone knows how to install it. And as well, it's not suitable for all. Okay, I want to install subsurface irrigation, okay, because I see it everywhere. No, okay, we need to know all the parameters, all the working parameters, all the field, all this we have seen before, all these 8 points in order to determine if the plot, the project can be developed or not. Okay, there are some soils that are not suitable for this type of irrigation. And also, what is more important even than installation and the product itself is the maintenance, operational maintenance. There are subtle, these very easy tasks, but they need to be very specific and very accurate in order to make constant and frequent maintenance and operation. We have gathered all this information in our own handbook, operational and manual handbook, which tells you step by step what you should do in order to have success with these SDI systems. Okay, we can see here some of the projects we have performed worldwide. You see almond, walnut, pecan, hazelnuts, pistachio, everything. You see there is very, very clean, no obstacles, almost no obstacles on the field, and the crops talk by themselves. Yes, we have the experience any part of the war almost. Well, look, this is the information we gather through one of our clients who is managing very large areas of nut, very diverse nut crops, plantations in different production systems. Here we are talking about, for example, this case is with almond trees and 7 in intensive, 7 by 6 meters, and all the cost and the application of water for irrigation and type of it was a conventional system, and the price of almond, okay, he's getting on field on origin. Okay, I'm talking more than 4,500 cubes per hectare of irrigation per year, and also the labor cost. He's getting with all the insurance and all the expenses, 120 euros per day. Okay, with a target yield, very important, of 2,400 kilograms per hectare of on-site almond. So here we have the comparison table of this of the costs comparing the two the irrigation systems. We're talking drip irrigation, on-ground drip irrigation compared with the subsurface drip irrigation. Here we have the description of each cost, and we can see the comparison of cost effectiveness of each one. Okay, in terms of water, this producer has reported us that just with the SDI, we are talking more efficient water going through directly to the root system and avoiding evaporation of the water. We are talking about with the increase of efficiency and the savings in water application, we are talking more than 100 euros per hectare of saving just in water. So we have seen the cost of the water. You can make also the calculations according to the water cost of in each area. But we are talking about a big share here of savings. Also, the cost he's saving to doesn't pump this water because it doesn't need to be pumped. He's saving this water. So also it's a cost saving. We're talking about 35 euros per hectare. The fertilizer he was using an hydraulic pump injector. We advise him about make some changes in more frequent dosing with less concentration of nutrients, and he's becoming more efficient. He's saving 20% of fertilizers. This is very important for the pocket, saving 90 euros per hectare as reported by this producer. In harvesting, the time he's not consuming during the harvest by moving the drip lines on the ground and then fix these leakage by the machinery passing through, stepping on the drip lines. We are talking about, because he's paying a lot of money per labor per day, as we saw, we are talking about 240 euros per hectare saving. This is a big point because of the expense of the manpower. Cultural practices, okay. He's saving in this. There is not that weed appearance on the surface, so he's saving also in tillage practices, also herbicide. There's herbicide. He doesn't need also to fix any drip line. So also talking about 30 euros per hectare. Through the irrigation, we are talking about this is place where a lot of rabbits going around, and they face many places. They face a lot of defection, a lot of problems with the rabbits and the drip lines. So getting rid of just the rabbits by burying the drip lines, we are talking about 40 euros per hectare of saving to this replacement, drip line replacement. And so also the carbonate precipitation, as we bury the drip lines on ground, there is not direct precipitation by sun evaporation, water evaporation by the sun while it's buried. So we are also saving in this problem. And there is an extra 25 euros cost. So here is an bad point for the subsurface drip irrigation. Because of the herbicide, the AZUD, he needs extra to apply one extra application for the maintenance of the subsurface drip line, the bored drip line, in order to get rid of the roots or get the right maintenance. Okay. In total, we are talking about more than 500 euros per hectare of savings, cost savings. And at the same time, here we are, the producer is reporting higher yield. We are talking about 10% more of yield. Why? Because once the drip lines are buried, are set apart from the trunk, from the tree row, and there is more is wider wet volume, so more root volume. The roots are more developed, are concentrated on this bigger wet volume. So it results on bigger canopy proportion, and also bearing bigger, higher yields. So reporting 10% more of harvesting, 10-15% more of harvesting, and with the price of the nuts, of the almond, talking about 1,000 and almost 200 euros per hectare of extra income. Extra income, 500 less of costs. We are talking about 1,000 and almost 700 euros more per hectare per year. And if we consider that installation the first year is 20% more if we want to install a subsurface drip irrigation, we are talking about 20% more of initial cost, but in the first year it's already recovered the investment with this with all these benefits we have seen here. So to sum up, in order to get the maximum profitability, we can cut on cost, reduce the cost, get the same yield at least, or even higher, and with the better quality, and be environmental friendly. Okay, with all these circumstances we have talked before. The 9 keys we have seen, all the 9 points are important and are related each other. Okay, we cannot see here. Okay, once the plant, some people just think about the plant or about the irrigation. No. We have, well, in irrigation, for example, we have seen that people just copy and paste the irrigation design that is made nearby in their neighbor's plot, and they use the same. But we need to consider all these 9 points to study the feasibility and the real success of the plantation. Each point is related with the other. We cannot go separately here, and this is what we as AZUD we have considered. That's why we are not just talking about irrigation. We have been closely related with other companies in order to learn all this knowledge and be able to advise full integrated plantation project in nut crops. By using the technology, we will become more efficient. We will need nowadays the price of the nuts are very good on the market, but we don't know how will be tomorrow. We need to get the return of investment as quick as possible, and this is possible with the use of the right technology and the suitable one to our characteristics. And in irrigation, we have seen that for cost efficient and sustainability, the SDI, whenever it's possible, is the most recommended irrigation system that we could make for our installation in order to get all these advantages as talked before. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you to have been there. Hope it's been a useful information. It's very 9 tips in a brief time. We can develop all this information through all questions you may have. Right now we have some time to answer all these questions, and also feel free to contact us anytime for any type of doubt or answer or doubt or question you may have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Borja has been very interested, and I hope all of you have enjoyed this webinar. I think that it was full of examples and interesting things. Okay, Borja, we have many questions, and for everybody of you, I hope to give you all the time for answer every question that you have. If not, at the end, we will send you the proper question by an email, as an everybody, and the video of this webinar. Okay. Okay, Borja, let's do it.
Yes.
We have which is the spacing and flow rate do you recommended for a drip line in subsurface irrigation when we found sandy soil? In sandy soil subsurface irrigation.
Yeah, with sandy soil, well, we need to check how much sand we have in this sandy soil. We need to determine the amount of sand concentration there, because this could be a limitation. Whenever the sand is too high, we are talking about more than 80%, even less. maybe the subsurface irrigation is not the suitable solution for that. But anyway, anytime we are working with sandy type soil textures, we need to go with closer meter distance and higher flow. But also the operational of this irrigation should be in a frequency more frequent time, not make very long irrigation application, but more frequently, to divide them in more frequent periods, so we are not losing all the water in vertical percoloration. So we can kind of widen the wet valve. But anyway, it will be very important to know the percentage of sand present in this soil, because this is a limitation. If it's too sandy, we won't recommend to go with this system for SDI. If there is any other alternative, okay, we will go there, but with close emitters and higher flows, the highest flow.
Thank you very much, Borja. Here I put it this because I'm a little bit blind. Okay. We have another technical question, that is there any specific equation for the width bulb when using subsurface irrigation, or can I use the surface irrigation wet bulb equation, the common one, about the equation of the bulb? Is there any specific equation for the wet bulb when using subsurface irrigation?
Okay, the wet valve, the dimension will quite similar to that one developed when we are talking about on-ground drip irrigation. Just there will be some wet water going up by upright due to the capillarity. Okay, so we will get like an oval shape, but mostly the same for estimation. You could use the same equation to determine the width of this wet valve in SDI. It's very important to, once we have made this estimation, to use. Sorry again.
Oops. Lights.
Sorry. It's important to use this after the estimation to make a real test. That's what we do. We with the selected emitter and drip line and spacing and flow, meter flow, we make a on-field test as a last check just before installing, to make sure that the wet valve and the overlapping with all these between these wet valves are the same, are as we have designed.
Okay, thank you. We have another one that is the subsurface drip irrigation suitable also for apple orchard?
Yes, of course. This system, this SDI technique is suitable for any type of crop. We are talking that we have performed many projects also in field crops, maize, alfalfa, wheat, and also in fruit trees, peaches, apples, cherries, any kind. We just need to adapt to the tree plantation system and the soil test, the soil texture. So we ensure we may adapt the irrigation design to those characteristics. So it's not a problem of the crop, but determination about the soil characteristics and plantation system.
Okay.
Anyway, you can ask us about any other crop. Yeah, we'll reply. But here we are more focused now at this time for the nut crops.
Yes, another one is, can we use your filters for clean channel water from organic substances? organic matter,
Yes.
and what is the maximum ppm permissible pollution?
Yeah. When dealing with channel water, quality is expected to get a lot of organic matter, algae types. So we will advise you to go with automatic disk filter, disk technology in that case, because we're talking that this disk filtration works in depth. So we have like three-dimensional filtration element. The algae are retained in this type of filter better than other technology. We are talking about maximum ppm 250 of TSS, of suspended solids, but could be adapted. We can make it bigger than this, two-stage filtration with different filtration degrees, or also get rid of the bigger coarser elements by a prefiltration just before this. If we have high loaded waters, very concentrated water, but it will depend on the solid particles concentration. About 250 ppms of solid particles. It will depend also of the size of the size of these particles, but we are talking generally about these levels.
Thank you, Borja. Can you explain how the disease prediction system works, and how does it tell it which trees has the problem and the weather? Okay.
Yeah.
First question: how can you explain how the disease prediction system works?
This prediction system is linked to the weather station. In the weather station, we are gathering air humidity, temperature, light, and the wind speed. This is very related. Also, once we have all this information, we have a specific sensor that is acquiring data from the leaf. This type of disease are likely to happen when there is there is condensated water on the leaves and a lot of humid on the air. So the fungi start to grow and develop under these circumstances. The weather station is linked to this sensor of the leaf, moisture of the leaf. So we can work with the dew point, the air humidity, the temperature. High humidity, high temperature, moisture on the leaf indicates that will be more likely to happen this type of disease, fungi-related disease. So the weather station will send this information to this prediction system, and with the algorithm will send the alert to the producer by email, by phone application, and you will be able to act with 1 week or 10 days in advance before the disease will occur in the plants.
Thank you, Borja. Another question is, what is the lifespan of the subsurface irrigation pipelines?
Well, the lifespan is directly related with the maintenance and operational works you do. As I said, we will give you all these handbook, operational and maintenance tasks to be done, and you need to make sure that this is well done. We are telling that with these good practices, operational and maintenance practices, the last farm we working with this is already for 20 years installed, and they haven't changed they haven't faced any problem in the irrigation installation. So the lifespan, if on ground we are talking about 12 15 years, up to 15 years, underground we are avoiding sun radiation, sun problems, so the drip lines are not wasted for more time, but need to be done a good operation and maintenance tasks.
Okay, Borja. The last one. There are many questions, but we have to cut it because it's almost 1 hour of the webinar. I'm going to make the last question to Borja, and the rest of this we will send you. Okay. I also would like to tell you that we have a survey at the end. Please click in the banner, not in the cross. Click in the banner before to exit. Okay, thank you very much. The last question comes that, as you comment, with the subsurface irrigation, we can save 20% in fertilizer. How do you obtain this measure?
Yeah, well, this data is directly we obtained it directly from the producer. This is what the real data he's making, comparing different systems he has in other plots, and with the same plantation, same irrigation, everything, same systems, by one in subsurface and one on the ground. And this is real rate data we are acquiring from him. And as we said, we advise him about making the fertilizer in other way, in more split, let's say, less concentrated application, and as he's using an hydraulic injector pump. So we advise him, not as he was doing before, as the fertilizer supply told him, but to make less concentrated fertilizer application and more frequently through the time. So after that, without decreasing the yield and the quality, he's getting 20% less of fertilizer used. At the end, is a very cost saving, very cost saving, as fertilizer, you all know, it's one of the most expensive part of the incomes for the production cost right here.
We have many questions. Borja, what do you want? One more, or
as you want. We can do the last one if you want.
Okay, let's go for
anyway we will reply all of them by
for sure. We are going to reply every question that you have and send it join to the video webinar. Okay, thank you very much for this experience. And Borja, another one, or we finish, whatever you want.
Last one. Okay,
last one. Okay. One question is, do you recommend that every time 2 drip lines for 1 row of nuts? Install 2.
Well, if we are talking about on ground drip irrigation, we have on the ground the drip lines. Yes, we recommend to, better than just 1 drip line, to put 2 drip lines per 2 row, but separate them from the trunk. There is no reason to keep them just close to the trunk. Is that it's the same that is we are just using 1 drip line. We need to separate them from the trunk, separate apart from the trunk, the 3 trunks, and that's why we can increase the root area. So we are increasing the wet volume, the wet valve around the tree, and the tree will develop the root system in a more widely way. So this will result in higher canopy, more canopy, and at the end more yield due to this wider root system. So once we are working on ground drip irrigation, we will recommend to go to 2 drip lines separate apart from the trunk, around 70 to 1.5 meter, depending of the plantation system. But this will also we will face some problems with all this, what we say, with the harvesting, with the machineries. We could make damage to the drip lines stepping on them, or with the pruning, with the mower, with the tractor. Anytime we are going there with the machinery, this drip line could suffer. So we need again to put them close to the trunk. So this is time consuming. if this work is done through all the year, at the end will be extra costs that we could save by boring them underground, as we have seen. So, but yes, mostly, basically, 2 drill line per row is what we advise.
Okay, Borja, thank you very much for everything. Thank you very much for your knowledge. And we have many questions, but we have to cut it, or yes, we are going to cut it. And thank you very much. Please fill the survey, because it's worth it for improve ourselves in this initiative, in this webinar, because we are going to try to make many more while during this situation of the lockdown. Okay, but it seems that it's improving better and better and better. And thank you very much, Borja. Thank you.
Thank you to all of you. Thank you for your time. And anytime you can contact us for any further info, we will reply to all of your questions. And we are here to support you and keep doing good everywhere. So thank you. Thank you again for everything. Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you to all of you.
Okay, people. See you.
Thank you.